Start recording. All right, so just for the recording, create a, oops, how to create a material function. Just right click here, materials and textures, material function, give it a descriptive name. I use MF for material function. I like to prefix everything. So like M for material, MI for material instance, most of the time. MF for material function. So here it is, and it can contain pretty much anything from like a float to a vector, a color. But for this one, we're gonna have material attributes. So I just click make material attributes like that. And what you plug in here decides, the format of the output. So to make this easy, I will take one of my existing materials, or actually I will take the Megascans default material here, and I will take everything and I will copy it, and I will go into my material function, zoom out a bit and paste it. So, and plug everything in, of course. Roughness, oops, flatten, normal, and also I will do um, an input to be able to change, to have control to get inputs on the material functions. You create an input here called function input, and that can be different formats. And I select scalar because I will only scale it uniformly for this one. And then I can take this parameter and put it in the preview. So one there and in here. And also, of course, for landscape, you can use the landscape coordinate. You don't have to, but you can. Landscape, UVs, coordinates. Yeah. All right. UVs, and we need to switch the textures, of course. So I will go in here, and I will. Oh, not this one. Surfaces. Yeah, mud floor. And just put it in here. Oh, mud floor. Like that. Roughness. Normal. I didn't have displacement, but I will actually no. All right, compile. I will add some tint here as well. Let's get that. This is a really nice one if you haven't found it. Just storing colors up here. You can store like many colors. Very nice. So tint. Yeah, it's like putting a material into a material function, because you can only assign like one material to a face on a mesh, or like a group or whatever. but you can blend materials inside one material, but then you have to convert them into a like material function first, so you can uh, keep them as a unit instead of um, like making a traditional landscape or mixed material. You would have to be like inside the material here, and you would have to like blend every like create like 3 sets of these ones and blend them, and 3 sets of this one and blend them. So you would have like a huge huge mess, even for just mixing 3 sets of shaders or sets of textures, like 3 materials. But now they have the material blend functions since a few versions back, and then yeah, you can just put or just this kind of messy still, but it's a lot easier. Um, so yeah, this is one material put inside a material function. So instead of a material node at the end, you see this like output result. And the point of that is, I will close it, that inside the material, if I create a new material here, and I will call this M desert landscape. Um, so this is a regular material with the material at the end here. Um, then I can spell correctly also sometimes. But instead of having all these individual inputs here, I can just click this one down here, use material attributes, and I only get this like structure or whatever collection of all parameters in one. And then I can put the material blend here. Blend. Okay. Blend. Material blend. A few different ones. This one, the 10 layer blend, it's supposed to remove the unused layers when you compile. I haven't like tested that, but if you want only do if you want to be super sure, it's a standard blend too, which is only 2 layers, like a base layer and one top layer. And we have this. You can drag in your the material function you made, like this one. And here's our input, which I didn't name. In tiling. Compile. So, so now let's put that on the base background layer. Make a scalar 0.1. And now we have a, if I connect this to, we have like a completely standard material without no blending, but this will just like pass through since we don't have any layers on top. Let's check that. If I have the regular texture coordinates and put it on this landscape, 0.1 looks okay. So that's just I would actually make a parameter of this and call it like tiling base layer. Why not do that? Yeah, it is. Because in the material functions, to get inputs here, you have to create these function inputs. And they can be like the default points of vector3, and they can be like any kind of material attribute. So they kind of pipe in parameters into the material function. Also, but you actually get the um, these parameters that are hidden inside the um, material function will actually show on the material, uh, which is kind of good and bad. Let me show you. Yep. Um, I think you can have. Is that? I'm not sure that if you have like running on latest DirectX and stuff. I think you can have more textures, but mm, yeah, that might be the case. I usually just use like um, three layers, and I usually don't have the metal, so uh, that's 9. You can, so you can have 4 actually, and still be inside 12. Uh, but yeah, I'm not sure. That could be the case. Um, Thanks for providing the information. All right, let's find it. Desert landscape, compiling shaders. And also one thing that's true when painting, like both landscape and um, vertex paint materials, is that you have to fill the layer or clear the layer to get data on the entire surface, or it will not. It will just, you know, be weird. Okay, so this doesn't look very good, but now it's just one layer and it's working. And to get another layer, um, I'll just use this one red gravel to, it won't be super pretty, but you'll get the point. Desert landscape. And I will drag this red gravel inside. And I mean, a lot of times it's useful not to use the same exact tiling on different layers. You know, like tiling layer 1. Like, why not put something else here? 0.12. These guys. Uh, the first one is the background. So that one doesn't require any weight to be painted. It just covers everything. This one is layer 1, MA for material attributes, and layer 1 mask, S for scalar. It's like a one float value. So right now, I need to add one node, which is the layer sample, layer weight sample. I, I, I usually I always forget the name of this one. Um, Landscape layer sample. So default, this one is called none, and you don't want that. So at least called layer 1, because that will be the name of the layer that you will see in the landscape paint menu or details. So plug this one into layer 1 mask, and this one will be control how much of the red gravel will be on top of the red rock sandstone. All right, plug it. And now I think it will all be covered with the red. No. All right. Landscape, paint, layers. Okay. All right. Compile, maybe? No. Why not? Paint layers. All right, just to check, I will just create a new one. Landscape, create. Yeah, so now I did something to the landscape. Um, so yeah, a lot of times, like what happened now is kind of classical for me, at least with landscapes. So like sometimes, even though you do it right, it doesn't work. So don't be like there are some kind of, I don't know, bugs, but kind of freaky behaviors. And the first thing you need to do to be able to paint, you can see that this like painting marker is red now. So you need to click the little plus sign next to the layer and create this layer info, which will be saved with the level. So it's good to save the level first. Matte mix. Landscape, create layer info, weight blended. You see levels, and we call the level name and shared assets like that. And then I can click this one and I get the regular color thing. And now, like I anticipated, it's all covered with the layer one. So you also have to like right click this one and do clear layer. And now you get the base layer. And now you can actually paint the other one on top. All right, this is coming back. All right, I will keep going. So, Malin, was it you that lost the stream? Oh, okay, cool. So see my beautiful artwork here. Making a chessboard. Uh, so yeah, this is really, I'm not gonna make something beautiful here. I'll leave that to you. Um, all right, so that's the basics of landscape material. Also this one, just where you see it. You see this, do you see this like sphere here, or like circle here? It's actually the edge of the reflection capture. So one time I had a huge problem, like ended up deleting all the lights in the scene, but it's just the reflection capture that does that. All right. Yeah, material functions. So like um, I just do a super quick one again. I can do it. I can do the actually the vertex version because it's pretty much the same, and I will. But the point is, because the most common, like the traditional landscape material, it's material landscape old school. Um, it uses this one, that's the one called landscape layer blend or something. Landscape layer blend, and then you add layers here, and you give them names, something, and oops, and something else like grass and whatever. Grass, dirt. Ah, grass, for instance. Actually, I would take away these ones because that makes sense. Just to give you an idea of what's going on. Delete. Okay, so this one, the traditional landscape blend, is just like a single color. So it's just you have to do like every texture on its own. So if I do like a base color first, textures, surfaces, that, surfaces, okay. So one texture and some other one. And then I can blend them like this. Apply. And I will apply this to this. I'll make a new one. Sure. Landscape. Create. Okay. And I will assign this material. Old school. Old school. I really encourage people to use the search fields everywhere in Unreal because you spend so much time just looking through searching for stuff, and it's like everywhere, and I use it as much as I can. This one is black, yeah, because it doesn't have any preview. Wait. Apply. Um, Assign. Yeah, exactly. So my point is that you get the same layers here, but you will have to do it for every texture, and you will also have to. It works much worse. It's like really crappy. Uh, uh, okay, this one. So I mean, with some UVs and everything, and you have like four materials, you can imagine your material will be like so messy. Uh, yeah, exactly. You have wires everywhere, and also, I mean, a lot of times, I'm gonna post a really nice video from Quixel. Also, he's making this kind of country road thing, which is really nice. But where he also does some like noise pattern blending, and um, I mean, yeah, yep, cool. All right. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, I will just go on a bit. So the next one is just standard material blending, which is pretty much the same. Um, Regular mix. Let's put something in here. Yep. points. So like a low res rock or mid res. Okay, materials, regular mix. And just to get started, I will add the vertex color here. And I will add some colors. Or why not make a, no, color is fine. Base color. Yeah. Base color. This one will be red channel. And it would be some green. Okay, so if I do a simple lerp here, linear interpolate, and I will add the red channel to the alpha and put that in base color. Now it's completely green. So that was the second color. So same here. It will just, if it doesn't have any data, it will just be one, which is a bit strange. But going into mesh paint and going into selecting the mesh, and then you go paint and go red channel. Oh, first we fill it. Fill and black. Fill. So now it has the base color. Take white again. Full power. Only the red channel. Paint. And now I can start to paint in kind of this green stuff if I want to. So that's the very like super basic of the material vertex blending. And then of course, if you want to keep going, you just put textures here, and you can also of course do materials now. So material blend, do standard, or do 10-day blend. So now I just put this red channel into layer 1 mask. So I'm used to having like a more screen, 2 screens. It's very nice. And I will go and take these material functions again. Dry mud. No, materials, material function. Take this one, add some tiling. Base layer. Just put one. A material is something that you can apply to an object, and that will, shade it. A material function is something you use inside a material. So in this case, the material function holds like all data that is necessary for a material, but it's not a material. So like if I didn't have the blend here, I could just do this. Instead of the mix, I just do material attributes and just pipe this straight in, and this will be like exactly the same as if all this all what I have in material function would be in the material instead, or like right here. So it's just in this case, it's just a container for all material data to be able to put a bunch of sets of material data inside one material to be able to mix them. Um, cool. Like that, like this. Whoops. So, I mean, the only difference between a landscape and a regular mesh paint is that you use the vertex color, and then you have, of course, like only this possible. But I mean, that's a lot of times that's enough. I usually just even use like one or two. Let's take another one. Actually, I will take these ones. Stone 1. Stone layer 2. Metal layer 1. One. Background layer 1. Apply. All right. So let's see which this one is. Vertex color red. Stone 1, stone 2. Fill it. Okay. Like that. And just paint some. So then, like, now we don't have much tiling. I'll just get the tiling up a bit. Yeah. I don't know how clear it is in the stream, but this is great to have one material that is that doesn't contain much like identifiable detail. So like this one has all these small kind of dark brown rocks like or stones that make a really you can really tell it's repetitive. So just going in and kind of randomly removing them will make they take away the obvious repetition of the materials. Yeah. So I mean, for yep, yep, yeah. Go ahead. Yep. Yeah, uh, that sounds good. Be sure to have the exact to make it really good. You need to match the size of the landscape. You know, these kind of strange. So it's not the 2K. It's like 2017 or whatever. Just match them with the pixels, and you get 1 pixel for each. You know, kind of vertex on the landscape. That is probably the best. One other thing could be to make it, you know, split it up in pieces and to be able to enable the LOD. But if you want to use the grass tools and all that, that would be uh, yeah. I mean, the LOD tool only loads things that are some part away. So to use that, you have to maybe split it. Like the background mountain is like one mesh, and the stuff nearby is one. Uh, but other than that, I mean, for me, a lot of times, I don't use much landscape. I mean, I think it's okay. It's fun sometimes, but for most like serious stuff I do is like all sculpted in, you know, like ZBrush or something. Uh, so yeah, uh, yeah. I mean, you can use I use the foliage painter on static meshes. Um, so yeah, I don't use the. You can't use the procedural foliage placement, which is kind of a volume that you place that will grow stuff. So I don't use that, but you can use the foliage painter fine in Gaussian static meshes. So that's, I mean, that's really nice. All right. So do we have any questions on material blending, or is it like super clear? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So in here now I only have the tiling input, but like here you could do instead of a, hmm, oh no, apparently not. I think you can do it. I haven't tried it, but I mean, you have all these inputs here. So yeah, I will Google that after this, or you Google it. But kind of the thing with this landscape material and material function thing is that to make it when you start doing that, you a lot of times you end up with a material that's really messy anyway, because then you will get all these instead of these kind of clean, making a kind of collected materials that look pretty nice. Uh, you get all these like huge landscape materials again back. So, but I mean, one thing that I used to do before I did this, it was to do like this, um, to make the material attributes in here. Um, and that's perfectly fine. So if you want to do like this big, um, if you want to keep the textures in the material, so to speak, you can just do this and and put them here. Oh, something. Um, so this is one way to do that I know work because I've done it. Oh wait, okay, that's my my not complete answer, but anyway. All right, any other questions? Okay, so if not, I will just take a 10-minute break, and then I will be here on Discord, and you can we can talk, and you can ask, and I will answer as best as I can. All right, thank you.